a nappy hour. Nappy hour. Nappy hour.
This podcast is brought to you by Nomcos, lip care that works, but more on that later. I need to pause my dishwasher. Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. Right. Oh, let's try that again. This podcast is brought to you by Nomcos, lip care that works, but more on that later. Welcome back to the Nappy Hour, guys, the place where you tell me all about your fucked up lives and I tell everyone, just like real friends. So open your ears and let me fill them full of shit. Advice. Disclaimer, I am not a doctor. I'm not even a school nurse. I am first aid trained though. Although I wouldn't trust myself in that situation to be like fully, I'm not taking charge. You know, when someone's like in a restaurant and they're like, do we have anyone that's first aid trained? I'm not fucking putting my hand forwards. The only thing I remember from the first aid training that I did, which was about 8 years ago now, was you come across like a casualty. Okay, there's someone on the floor. They're lying there. You got to first, don't go over to them straight away. You got to check the coast is clear. Is anyone trying to kill me right now? Is there any broken glass? Next, you got to check if they're responsive. This person's lying there. Their head is literally chopped off. I'm like, hello? Hello, can you hear? What's your name? Next, you got to check the airways. Open their mouth, see if there's any gobstoppers in there. No? Okay, all good. And that's pretty much where my knowledge stops. But luckily, no one is coming here, you know, because they're bleeding out after a horrendous car accident. We're just here for a giggle, right, guys? So don't sue me, okay? I was laughing on the phone to my friend the other day because we were laughing about the madness of the days and the craziness that you were driven to while that baby was like screaming on your chest and you just didn't know what to do about it. And she told me... She told me that one night she got so fucking crazy through tiredness. Her baby was screaming on her chest. She didn't know what to do. It was in the middle of the night and she just started banging her head as hard as she could against the wall. And it reminded me of a time. Now, I would love to say that this was just a one-off situation. But if I'm honest, guys, I did this quite a few times. It was a little phase that I got into, where I needed a distraction from the pain in my ears. So I thought the best thing to do, the healthiest thing I could do right now is get my fist and punch myself in the fucking face as hard as I could. Those newborn days took it out of me, I swear. Okay, so Woody's screaming. He's on my chest. He's screaming. Or maybe like I'm doing the whole like put him down for a few minutes, then come back to the bed and then go and pick him up, put him down. Like, you know, I was maybe doing that whole thing. I can't really remember. But I just remember him being in bed. He's in the cot, actually. And I'm in bed and I'm sat up and Zach's asleep next to me. He might even be like out. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's the middle of the fucking night. My baby is screaming. I don't know what to do. So I get my fist and I just go bang, bang, bang. I wake up the next day and Zach's like, your face has a bruise on it. Where'd you get that from? And I'm like, I have literally no idea. That is so weird. I don't know. Do I have a bruise on my face? That is so fucking weird. Must have happened at boxing or something. He would be screaming and I'd be able to just do my breathing exercises and I would be able to get through it and just like zone out. But if that didn't work, you know, if my breathing exercises failed me, then a good punch in the face was always a brilliant distraction from the pain in my ears. Perfect. Now I have a pain on my face. Really, what I'm just doing is giving myself two pains. I've got a pain on my ear and now I've got a pain on my face. But the logic, it seemed rational in my sleep-deprived state. I don't know. But anyway, if you have one of those situations where you remember in those newborn days, you just got driven to psychosis, I would love to know. So I personally feel a little less crazy. So make sure if you have any funny stories of, you know, those crazy newborn days, then send them in. And if I get any in, I'll read them out next week. I felt deep shame that I was finding it difficult. And was so reluctant to reach out to my girlfriends or even just like Zach to let Zach know that I was struggling. I was so reluctant and I felt deep, deep shame about it because I just felt like it is my duty. It is my duty as a mother and a wife to be struggling right now. Like I would run myself into the fucking ground before just admitting to my mates that actually like I'm kind of struggling here. I'm punching myself in the face at night. Like, am I okay? You know, truth is, the moment I told Zach that I'm struggling and that this wasn't working for me, he stepped up and he made changes that would take a load off me and really help me out. And I know that if I had messaged the girls and been like, hey, can someone help me out here? But in my mind, I just made up the fact that like, no one cares. Everyone's too busy and no one cares. Like everyone has shit going on. Just don't bother anyone. I remember my friend Maria coming round, and Maria, if you're listening, I love you. She worked at a gym nearby. And so she had classes throughout the day, but she'd had like a few hours break in between a couple of her classes. And I remember her coming round in between those classes. And the first time she came round, I was so tired. I was so fucking tired. And she came in and Woody was fussy, like he just wasn't sleeping. And Maria just took that fucking baby and just rocked him. Didn't say anything. We just sat in silence in my flat. And she was just rocked him to sleep. And I was sat on the sofa. I get emotional thinking about it. But that, oh, sorry guys. That image of my friend doing that for me is like etched in my brain. Maria taking time out of her day to come into my space and hold my baby for me and rock him to sleep so I could just sit and chill. I didn't know how much I needed that. Sorry, I'm getting really emotional right now. I'm also feeling emotional at the fact that I remember the guilt and the shame that I felt of her doing this, because I just remember sitting on the sofa and not even feeling grateful, actually. Like not even, I was just embarrassed that like I couldn't entertain her, I couldn't look after. I felt like I needed, like my friend had come round and I needed to fucking stiff up a lip, pull my big girl pants up and show her a good time. But actually what I was doing was sat on the sofa in silence, just watching them. And I couldn't even enjoy that moment. Looking back, it's like a moment of like deep gratitude and I feel for her. But in the moment, I just felt embarrassed that I needed that. And I know that there are moms listening to this podcast right now that are in that stage where they don't feel like they should be reaching out to their friends because they just think everyone's busy, like no one has time for me, or even like, you know, you're sort of denying the fact that you are struggling because you feel like you need to handle it. And I'm here to let you know now, you know, nearly 3 years deep into this, fucking reach out to your friends and let them know, like, hey, can you come and rock my baby to sleep so I can just sit? Do it. And they want to do it. Good girlfriends want to do that for you. And also, if you're not vocalizing to your partner that you are actually really struggling right now, I know we as women, we want them to read our minds and we expect them to read our minds, but a lot of men, they really are not mind readers. And sometimes you need to just let them know, hey, actually, this is not working for me. Like, I'm just not feeling very good right now. Is there something that we can change in our routine to make me feel more supported? And he's your man and he loves you and he will step up. But anyway, we're going to get straight into these dilemmas, guys. We've got a couple of mums that are struggling right now. So let's get into it, shall we? Hi, I'm a massive fan of the podcast. Always gives me a good laugh. So here's my situation. I'm 29 and I'm living with my boyfriend since we were teens. Sorry. They moved in fast. She's been with her boyfriend since they were teens. We're effectively childhood sweethearts. Lately, though, his laziness is really starting to grate on me. He never cooks, never cleans, and his idea of helping out is carrying his dirty plate to the sink without washing it, of course. I love him, but I'm starting to see how much he's taken after his dad, who is a proper old school misogynist. Now, there's this guy at work that I really fancy, and I feel really guilty about it. I definitely get a vibe from him that he fancies me and I don't know what to do. He's attentive, always remembers the little things about me and actually does the washing up after a shared lunch at work, unlike my boyfriend. I haven't done anything with him yet, but I can't help but feel a pull towards him. Oof. Here's the thing. My boyfriend and I have been talking about trying for kids, but I'm not sure I can imagine a lifetime cleaning up after him and a child, especially when there's someone else who seems like he'd actually pull his weight. Do I stick it out and hope he changes, or do I explore what could be with this new guy? I'm so confused. Childhood sweetheart, more like fucking childhood pain in my fucking ass. To be a sweetheart, you've got to actually be sweet. Sorry, but this man does not qualify, in my opinion. When thinking about who you want to spend the rest of your life with, we don't just award that position to the person that's been there the longest. No, we award it to the person that makes us the happiest, that brings out the best in us. I don't know if this guy's that guy. Listen, it's hard to say whether this other guy in the office, let's call him B, option B, it's hard to know whether option B is the right guy for you because, to be honest, it's very easy to paint like the perfect picture of someone when we only know them from like the outskirts. Especially, you probably have like confirmation bias because he's hot, you fancy him, you're pissed off at your boyfriend right now. So you're kind of like putting all the things that you want your boyfriend to be. You're like, oh, but this guy, like you're putting him on a pedestal, even though you don't even know if he deserves to be up there yet. I can imagine people that don't necessarily know me very well might have a certain view of me that I am this certain kind of person. And then actually when they get to know me on a deeper level, they're like, oh, you're actually really insecure and anxious and you're very messy. Whereas someone from the outside wouldn't necessarily understand or know that about me. Listen, my gut is saying go with the new guy, but he said that. I mean, obviously break up with your boyfriend and have alone time. I think that is important, but not too much alone time in case this new guy, option B, gets a new girlfriend while you're having your alone time and then you miss your chance. I mean, what? Who the fuck said that? It's always tricky breaking up with someone for someone else because, what if it doesn't work? So really what you want to get yourself in the mindset of is like, maybe you break up with your boyfriend, but you don't break up with him for this new guy. You break up with him because you know that is not the man that you want to spend the rest of your life with. This guy might not work either. You could break up with your boyfriend, then you try it on with this new guy, and actually you find out that he has a girlfriend that he's not even fucking told you about. And then you're looking at your old relationship thinking, oh my God, I was about to have babies with this man. Like it could go so wrong. So really, you want to make this decision solely based on you and your mindset and what you want from your relationship and life. And if this option B wasn't even there, would you be thinking this right now? I'm assuming because it's got to this point where you've messaged me, I'm assuming this is like a reoccurring offense and it's just got to the point now where it's like you actually just can't be asked anymore. And you can you're looking at his parents and their dynamic and you can see your future and you're just like, really do not want that for me. And that is fair enough, babe. But I would tread very carefully in the sense of like fantasizing and romanticizing this other guy too much. Because trust me, I've been there. I was with Zach. He started playing computer games and he was a bit lazy in terms of like pulling his weight with work. And then I met this guy and he was so cool. He was a photographer. He went to festivals. He taught capoeira. Like he was just like everything I thought I wanted in a man. And then, after being friends with this guy and building like a little sort of relationship with him for a while, like I kind of realized, like you're not it. If I could take my version of you that I created in my head to get myself out of my unhappy relationship, then yeah, you'd be the dream man. But turns out you're not a dream man. You're actually a bit of a prick. So you just don't know about this guy. He could be a terrible kisser. He could have a fucking bunk bed. You just don't know. Okay. So I would tread very carefully. I do think it's worth considering if you are past the conversations with your boyfriend and you're just like, you know what? I can't be doing with this anymore. I think break up with him, babes. And maybe a little break is what he needs to fucking get his act together. That's exactly what Zach needed. Like we broke up and he sorted his shit out. He started working hard, started creating things again. And then we got back together and life was sweet. So let me know how you get on. What is that noise? What is that noise? Oh, it must be you in a chokehold by your current lip balm. I guess this is the perfect time to tell you about my sponsor, Nomcos. I too used to be in a lip balm chokehold, forever chasing that next moisture hit. Leaving the house without a lip balm equals certain death. You know, I get to the park and I'd feel my lips get all chapped. I'd reach into my pocket only to find that I left my lip balm at home. I'd be wandering around the park asking for a hit off someone. My whole body just cracking up. Please, do you have any lip balm? Until I got that moisture hit, it was all I could think about because I was an addict. And once you get on the lip balm train, it's very hard to get off because what brands can you trust? Well, I'll tell you what brand you can trust. Nomcos. I am very proud to be supported by Nomcos. It is the only lip care company that actually cares about the state of my lips. I can apply this lip balm once in the morning and I am good. You know, I no longer panic when I leave my lip balm at home because my lips have been nourished by Nomcos. I'm no longer that woman that is running around asking people if they have. If anything, I am the one that's walking around looking for girls with chapped lips, asking if they need some medical assistance. It is enriched with jojoba oil. Is it jojoba or jojoba? I can't bring myself to say jojoba, although I would say jalapenos. Someone that says jalapenos, I just think you are an uncultured little twat. It is a black-owned business and it is hand-poured in Manchester. All the ingredients are high quality and organic. It is founded by vegans, and I always think that, you know, when something is founded by a vegan, I just trust it a little bit more. So this business is founded by vegans and the product is vegan and cruelty free. And it is available to buy right now. So head over to nomcos.co.uk to get yours. Thank you, Nomcos, for supporting this podcast. I love you so much. Mwah! Just so you know, I don't need to do this because I have already applied it today. I'm just doing it for visual effect, okay? Okay, back to the episode. Mwah! This mummy says, hey, I am really struggling here and could use some advice. I'm 34, married with 3 kids and working full time. How is there enough hours in the day? 3 children and you're working full time. What the fuck? What the frickin' frick? Our youngest started nursery, so I have a tiny bit of time to breathe, but honestly, it's made things worse. My days are a blur of rushing to get the kids ready, working, cooking, cleaning, and then collapsing into bed, only to do it all over again. I used to dream about traveling the world, living freely, but now I feel lost in myself. Some days I fantasize about just packing up and leaving, even though I never would, but I just feel so guilty for even thinking this. I'm starting to resent my husband and kids because I feel like I've sacrificed everything for them. And now there's nothing left of the person I used to be. I love my family, but I can't keep going on like this. I think a lot of mums will be able to relate in the sense of like, you know, when you are working so hard in your job, for instance, and you're just grinding, and then you get on holiday and then you get sick and your body has been going, and it's not... You've not tuned into your body and actually like about what you want and what you need. And you've been like suppressing it because you don't have time to think. And then suddenly like all your kids are at childcare or whatever, they've gone to school and you're suddenly left with a little bit more time on your hands and you're like, oh, whoa, what the fuck is this? Or maybe like your last kid's gone to childcare now and then you're expected to get back on the grind and back into work. And it's like, do I even want that anymore? I don't know. I think it's so common, especially for mothers, right? Because we dedicate so much of our life to the pregnancy, the postpartum, the toddler stage. Like, if I think about Woody, it's nearly 4 years of my life to get to this point. And now I'm expected to go back into it and dedicate another 4 years and nearly a year for the pregnancy and then 3 years until toddlerhood. Like, it's a lot, man. And you put your career, your relationships, your personality like on hold. You put it on the back burner just to get this shit done. And it's hard, man, to think, okay, now I've got to pick all that back up. Like, how... One, like, I don't know if I can. And 2, like, I don't even know if I want to pick that back up. This is easier said than done, but I would really try and let those feelings of guilt for how you're feeling and the thoughts you're having wash over you because you haven't done it yet. You haven't walked out on them. You're still there. So there's no need for you to feel guilty about having those feelings. I wonder if you've spoken to your partner. I bet all my savings, which isn't much right now, your partner has thought the same. You know, people feel it with one kid, let alone three. You have three children. I bet anyone with three kids fantasizes occasionally about walking out on their family and just giving it all up. I mean, Zach, you know, on a stressful day with work, he's in his office, he's working away for, you know, sometimes 18 hours a day. He's up there and he's got a screaming toddler downstairs. I know for a fact that that man fantasizes about getting in his car and just driving it into the fucking ocean. Okay, this is a little bit dark, but I have days where I fantasize about jumping in front of a train. I'm not going to do it, but if I'm ever stood on a platform on a bad day, over the tannoy it says, this train will not be stopping at this station. I'm thinking, here is my chance. If I was going to do it, which I'm not, but if I was, this would be a good opportunity. I think we put so much truth in our thoughts, put so much power because we have these horrendous thoughts and we think, oh my God, that is how I feel. That's what I want. It must be what I want. Otherwise, why would I think it? I think about fucking taking a shit on the street. I'm not going to go and do it. Okay, I'm thinking about it. I could think about fucking two-hoofing a pigeon. I'm not going to do it. And it doesn't make me a bad person for thinking about it. It would make me a bad person if I went and did it. But I'm not. So I'm still a good person, right? As for traveling, yeah, look, I'm not going to say, listen, babes, just book yourself a holiday, go to Thailand, leave the kids. Or I'm also not going to say, just take the kids traveling because you got fucking 3 of them. That is 5 seats on an airplane that you need to buy. Sorry, no, because let's be real. What I would say though is I wonder if you can just get it in the diary where you just like take yourself off like a little day trip somewhere, get in your car, don't take the kids, leave them with daddy, and just go for a fucking drive. Do you like McDonald's? Go and look at the most highly rated McDonald's in your area and go and drive to it and just enjoy a nice meal in peace. I wonder if you can start just doing stuff by yourself, you know? Can you just start going out to gigs by yourself? Is there anything in your area that you can start doing? Just start dating yourself. I mean, legitimately, your husband will think that you are cheating on him. You got to reassure him. Don't be surprised when he's like, who is he? Because if Zach turned around and he was like, okay, babes, I'm going to start dating myself. I'm going to go to the cinema by myself all the time now. I'd be like, who is she? Sitting behind him in the cinema, making sure he's not kissing anyone. He's ordering his popcorn and Tango Ice Blast, and I'm there looking around the corner like, is that the girl you are literally wanting to throw your entire life away, your family, everything? Is that who you're risking it for? Her? Really? I know what you're thinking. But Miranda, what are you doing with your son? He's at home. My boyfriend's watching him. No, he's at home in bed, asleep. Duh. Isn't it mad that we don't do that? Put our kids into bed and then we lock the door and we just go out for the night. Like, why not? I haven't done it. Don't go calling anyone. I haven't done it. But I feel like we should. Oh, Miranda, what if the house might burn down? It might, but it probably won't. Let's be real. You know, what did they do in the olden days when they wanted to go to the cinema before babysitters existed? They'd leave their kids. That's to be fair, is why life expectancy was about 7 years old. Hi, I'm a first-time mum and I'm starting to resent my partner because of this overwhelming mum guilt I'm carrying. I feel guilty about every little thing. The other day, I gave our baby store-bought food instead of homemade and I couldn't stop beating myself up over it. When I first left the baby with my mum to grab a coffee with a friend, I spent the whole time feeling like a terrible mum. Meanwhile, my partner just breezes through life. He will leave the baby with his mum or me and go out with his mates and just doesn't think twice about it. He tells me I'm overthinking, but it's hard not to when I'm the one constantly worrying about every decision. It's like he can just switch off and enjoy himself while I am over here drowning in guilt. Is this normal? How do I shake it off? I want to enjoy being a mum, but I'm starting to resent him for how easy he has it. Feeling guilty for doing totally normal things is pretty much a rite of passage for mumhood. Sorry to say. Is it right? No, it's not, but it is normal. I thought I'd be different. But then I had a baby and I realised that actually mum guilt is like ingrained in you. They don't call it dad guilt. You know, Zach would be able to go to the pub with his friends and he wouldn't really think twice about it. Whereas if I ever wanted to hang out with my friends in the first 6 months, I would make sure I planned the hangout around my baby. Woody came with me to everything. Or when I did hang out without Woody, I felt immense guilt and I felt the need to prep everything and make sure Zach didn't need to worry about a single thing while I was out. Everything was ready to go. Food was prepped, snacks were prepped, clothes were laid out. You know, and the whole time I was away from Woody, my body was reminding me listen, babe, I know you're having fun, but you got a baby to take care of and you need to get back to him right now. Otherwise, he's going to die. The first time I left the house without Woody was a newborn. He was maybe like 3 or 4 weeks old. And I went to the garden centre. I went to the garden centre for about 90 minutes and I left him with my mum. And my boobs were on fire. They were literally like, womp, womp, womp. Your child is in danger. Womp, womp, womp. You're a terrible mother. Womp, womp, womp. You're going to have your child taken away from you. Womp, womp, womp. And I got back to him and my tits were actually like exploding, like milk just flying everywhere. And in my head, that was my body's way of saying like, you do not deserve to be a mother. Guess what? He was fine. I think once you have a baby, you realize how different men and women are physically, and it's very easy to resent them for it because, it feels like in the early days, they have the easier time, right? They don't have to get pregnant and give birth, for one. They aren't, they're managing to keep a little bit more of a normal life because they're not on maternity leave. So they are still working and seeing friends and doing hobbies. They're able to negotiate evenings out with friends easier because they're not required to physically be there to feed. And, we can either resent them for it or we can just accept that, men and women are physically very different. We are wired for different things. It lends itself to survival, basically, because we forget that we're animals. And when you think about animals, what animal dads generally stick around and raise the baby? Very rarely do animals actually parent together. They get the occasional one. Birds are really good for this. Birds will take turns in like being with the babies, going out and getting food, caring for the eggs. Birds are really, really maternal, actually. It's really sweet. Seahorses, the seahorse lady was like, fuck this, I'm not giving birth anymore. The male is the one that gives birth, so he is the primary caregiver, which is very sweet. But, very rarely do men stick around. And if they do, it's actually because it's the ultimate sacrifice. It's because the female eats the man so that she has the energy to care for the young ones. And isn't that so sweet? Something so heartwarming about allowing your partner to actually cannibalize you. I mean, sometimes I do effectively think that is what Zach is doing. Like he is like just fucking workhorse upstairs and I'm just like sucking him dry. Getting my nails done, buying plants and plant pots, looking at expensive cushions to buy. I'm just... Sorry, Zach. For most of human history, men were out there fucking killing bears, man, skinning them. So we had warm clothes to wear, fucking butchering them so we could eat meat. They were, out there providing and protecting. And we were around the fire, nurturing the babies. It's about survival. And you know what is not good for survival? Anxiety. Imagine that man is about to go and kill a bear, right? And he's like, oh, wait, I think I need to stay at home right now because what if the baby needs me? And what if he misses me? And like, I'm just a terrible dad for like leaving and going to kill this bear. You know what that would lead to? Mum and baby being very cold and hungry. So us mums bear the weight of the anxiety and the worrying and the mum guilt. Again, historically, it would be, oh, should my child be eating that berry? But what if I leave my baby and I go and sit by the fire with the other women? Like, will a bear eat? Why do I just think it's literally humans and bears? That's all it was in caveman times. It was just humans and bears and dinosaurs. If I leave my baby and I go to sit next to the fire with the other cave women, what if my baby gets eaten or dies? I better take my baby to the fire with me. Or maybe I just won't go to the fire tonight. I'll just skip it and I'll just stay in so my baby can get a good night's sleep. And now, millions of years later, things have changed. We don't need to kill bears anymore. We just go to Aldi and pick up some pork chops. And we don't need to, skin any animals to keep warm. We go to TK Maxx if we want warm coats. But our anxiety still needs somewhere to go. And that is why you feel guilty about feeding your child Ella's kitchen. Is it normal? Yes, it is, unfortunately. You just have to keep rationalizing in your brain that whenever you feel that mum guilt, you can switch out of your monkey brain or just at least appreciate, I'm in my monkey brain right now. I am allowed to go and have coffee with my friend. Oh my God, I wonder if I can tell this story. I need to tell you this fucking story, guys. So I am at the gym. I'm at the gym. It's a Saturday morning and I am on my way back from the gym and Zach is waiting to go and play basketball. We're going to get arrested for this. It was just a miscommunication, okay, guys? No one got hurt. It was just a miscommunication. I was texting him like, hey, I'm leaving the gym now. And he's like, babe, I'm going to be late. Like, you need to be quick. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm coming. And so I got stuck in traffic. And I was just down the road. I was like 2 stops away from my stop. And I was texting him, like, I'm so sorry. I'm stuck in traffic. You know, he was playing basketball. I haven't mentioned that. He was like, you know, people are waiting for me. I'm the one bringing the ball. Like, everyone's waiting for me. I'm going to be late. I said, you know, just take him. Why don't you just get him dressed, put him in the buggy and go? And he just read, well, go. He just read that, like, go. And sat on the bus in traffic, again, just 2 stops away. And I see this man sprinting down the road with his basketball. Guess what he does not have? He does not have our baby. And I am on the bus and I see him sprinting and he clocks me and he's like, hey. And I'm like, what the fuck? But he's just running and he doesn't necessarily clock that I'm like, what the fuck in the moment. Luckily, the bus starts moving and I am literally like 2 minutes away from my flat and I get out that fucking and I just sprint up to my flat and obviously Woody is just lying on the fucking floor. Woody is lying on the floor and he's like, Mom. Yeah, he's not saying mum, he's way too young for that, but he's like, where is everyone? And he was probably, realistically, he was on his own in that flat for, I'm going to say like 2.5 minutes. But that was the longest 2.5 minutes of my fucking life. So listen, if I can share that with you, and I don't really feel mum guilt for that. It was just a miscommunication. You're fine. Go for a fucking coffee with mates and just enjoy yourself, bitch. I also think there's something really wonderful about leaving your child on their own in the flat. No, I think there's something really wonderful about leaving your child with your friends and your family. And I would palm Woody off all the fucking time to my friends. I still have feelings of mum guilt, but I still did it because I thought it was really beautiful that Woody was able to form strong connections with my friends without me there, because you know kids are just different when they're with their parents, and I just love the fact that he was building these strong loving relationships with our friends. Like, they are his family, and I think that's really beautiful. You know, and I'd be away for a few hours and I'd feel really guilty on my way back and I'd be rushing back and I'd get to my friend's flat and Woody was just having the time of his life and so are they. And, you know, it's actually a really important part of building your village is trusting the people in your life and trusting that they will look after your baby for you. So, you know, we always say, I don't have a village, but then we almost like don't allow ourselves to build it because we feel that guilt. So sack the guilt off and go and have a coffee with a friend. Just make sure you leave the baby with an adult in the house, okay? In terms of like resentment towards your partner and wishing that he would feel these same feelings or being confused why he's not feeling like this guilt and anxiety, I think we need to switch our mindset because we don't want our partner to feel this way. We don't enjoy this feeling of anxiety and guilt whenever we leave our babies. Why would we want our partner to then feel the same feelings as us? Really, we need to look at our partner and think, I'm going to be more like you. So now what I stopped doing after a little while was when I leave Woody with Zach, I'm not there like prepping everything for him. I just let Zach figure it out. And if there's something that he doesn't know, then he just calls me and he asks me. But I'm not going to then, worry about all these little details, getting all the snacks ready, getting all the clothes ready. I'm just not going to do that. Just go. Just tell your partner, I'm going out for a coffee with Sophie at 11. Okay? I'm leaving this baby with you. Bye. Bye. And on that note, we are going to leave it there. Thank you so much for everyone that has tuned in to this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do not forget to rate this podcast if you haven't already, and also check out our sponsors, Nomcos. I am truly, truly obsessed with this product, and I really, really appreciate their support and love. I would not be here recommending this product to you if I did not think it was the absolute shit. I know that you are in the market for a lip balm that works because let's face it, no lip balm does work. If you have enjoyed Nappy Hour at all over the last however many months I've been doing this, then please go and support Nomcos. Follow their Instagram, go to their website and check out their range because they are a company that have put their trust in me and supported me. And for that, I am eternally grateful. So I would love it if you guys would go and show some love and support to them and go and buy their fucking product because it's actually sick. Have an amazing day, guys. I will see you right back here next week. Mwah.